Welcome to the 1760s. The country we know as the United States of America does not yet exist.
Britain still owns the 13 American colonies.
Everyone who lives in the colonies is ruled by King George III, the distant King of England.
The Americans resent paying taxes to the British.
The colonies are starting to unite to fight for their freedom.
But not every colonist is concerned with the great big world out there.
Some are too busy avoiding their duties at home.
In a small village in the Catskill Mountains of New York lives a man named Rip Van Winkle.
A simple, good-natured man.
A lazy man.
His house is in disrepair.
The roof leaks. The fence needs mending.
I'll get to it.
You've been saying that for 2 years.
His farm grows almost nothing.
A little patch of corn and potatoes, you call that a farm?
Rip is happy to run errands for his neighbors.
Or fly kites with the village children.
But he never does any work at home.
Why must I have a husband who won't lift a finger for his own family?
Rip's son and daughter are wild and ragged. His wife, Cornelia, has a sharp tongue.
And unlike a knife, the more I use it, the sharper it gets.
Cornelia works outside the Van Winkle shabby house, pounding fence posts into the ground. Rip saunters up the lane whistling.
Where have you been all day?
Fishing?
Did you catch anything?
Nope, but I saw the most beautiful.
Ugh, you are as useful as a milk bucket under a bull.
Rip wanders over to the village inn to talk with his friends.
It says here in the paper that the British intend to raise our taxes again. It's detestable.
We have to follow their laws. What can we do about it?
If only we could elect our own officials.
Van Bummel speaks to a picture of King George that is hanging on the wall.
Listen here, King George. We want our independence.
Uh-oh, here comes Mrs. Sunshine.
Rip, I've asked you 3 times to feed the chickens.
Well, I haven't had the time.
Time? What do you good-for-nothings do with your precious time?
We speak about important matters of the day.
Turkeys can gobble, gobble, gobble all they want, but in the end of it all, they still lose their heads.
One autumn day, Rip slings a hunting gun over his shoulder and goes for a walk with his dog Wolf.
Woof!
Wolf.
Woof! Not woof. Wolf. Woof, woof.
Never mind.
Rip and his loyal hound end up in one of the highest parts of the mountains. Rip gazes at the majestic Hudson River below.
He breathes in the cool air and admires the purple clouds hanging low in the afternoon sky.
No one can tell us what to do up here.
Then Rip hears a voice.
Rip Van Winkle.
Rip looks around. He doesn't see anyone.
Rip Van Winkle.
The voice is closer this time.
Rip feels uneasy. Wolf bristles.
Rip Van Winkle.
Rip sees a stranger with a barrel on his back climbing the rocks.
The stranger is a short old fellow with thick, bushy hair and a gray beard. He is dressed in antique clothes like the Dutch explorers who came through these mountains 50 years earlier.
Hello, sir.
The odd fellow says nothing.
Let me help you with that heavy load.
Still, the odd fellow says nothing.
Rip and the odd fellow carry the barrel together.
Do you hear that thunder?
The odd fellow does not respond. They climb until they reach the hollow, like a small amphitheater.
In the center are more odd-looking fellows playing a bowling game called ninepin.
Nobody talks. The only noise is the balls, which sound like thunder when rolled.
Rip's companion pours the contents into the barrel with cups and motions for Rip to serve. Terrified, Rip obeys.
Here you go, gentlemen.
The men say nothing. They drink and return to their game.
By this time, Rip is quite thirsty.
Surely it wouldn't hurt to have a sip.
When no one is looking, he sneaks a swig.
Delicious.
He takes another sip.
And then another.
His head droops and
Rip Van Winkle falls into a deep sleep. When Rip awakens, he yawns and looks around.
Where am I?
He realizes he is where he first saw the odd fellow.
Ah, yes, but this is not where I fell asleep. How strange.
he rubs his eyes. It is a sunny morning. Birds are twittering in the bushes.
Surely I have not slept here all night. What will I tell my wife?
He looks around for his gun, but finds only a rusty firearm.
Did those odd fellows steal my gun? And where is Wolf gone?
He whistles and shouts.
Wolf!
Whoa,
Where are you?
where are you?
Who's there?
Who's there?
Only his echo replies.
Did they take my dog too? I must find them.
As Rip stands up, he finds himself stiff in the joints.
Ow!
When he gets to where the amphitheater was, he finds only a wall of solid rock.
Rip is utterly baffled. He scratches his head.
I don't understand. Well, I'm famished. I will go home and come back later.
As Rip approaches the village, he meets a number of people, but does not recognize any of them.
Thought I knew everyone in this area.
The people are dressed oddly. They all stare at him.
Soon, a troop of children is at his heel.
Look at the strange old man with the long gray beard.
Rip reaches up to his chin, and to his surprise, he finds a foot-long beard.
Who is that?
I've never seen him before.
The village is full of houses Rip has never seen.
Strange names are all over the doors. Strange faces are in the windows.
Everything is strange.
Rip is perplexed.
Have I lost my mind?
He finds his house. The roof has caved in, the windows are shattered, and the doors are off the hinges.
Cornelia, Judith, Rip Jr. Is anyone here?
Rip hurries to the village inn, but it is gone. A wooden building stands in its place. A sign over the door reads, "The Union Hotel."
Next to the inn is a flagpole. A flag with stars and stripes on it flutters at the top.
Rip has never seen anything like it.
Then Rip noticed a picture of King George has been changed. The red coat is now painted blue, and in large letters underneath it reads, "General George Washington."
Rip grabs his head.
Why don't I recognize my own village?
People are bustling about, including a man passing out flyers.
Elections today. Don't forget to vote.
Nearby, a crowd of onlookers has gathered around Rip.
What brings you to the election with a gun on your shoulder and a mob at your heels? Are you trying to start a riot?
I am a poor, quiet man and a loyal subject of the king.
The crowd goes wild with fury.
He's a spy.
Away with him!
I mean no harm. I came in search of my neighbors. Where is Nicholas Vetter?
An old man pipes up.
Nicholas? He's been dead for 18 years.
And Van Bumble, the schoolmaster?
He became a general in the war.
Rip is puzzled.
Does anybody know the Van Winkle family? Oh, Rip Van Winkle. That's him over there, leaning against the tree.
Rip turns and sees a man who looks exactly as he once looked.
What is your name? I don't know. I'm...
The bystanders look at each other, smirking and winking.
I fell asleep on the mountain, and everything's changed. I can't tell what my name is or who I am.
A woman steps forward.
Who is asking about the Van Winkles?
The child in her arm begins to cry.
Hush, little Rip.
What is your name, good woman?
Judith.
And your father's name?
Rip Van Winkle. But it's been 20 years since he left, and no one has heard from him since. His dog came home without him, poor critter.
But where's your mother?
She died long ago. She broke a blood vessel while yelling at a peddler.
Rip reaches out for the woman and her baby.
I am your father, and that must be my son over there by that tree. Don't you recognize me?
I'm sorry. I was only a child when my father left.
An old woman teeters over. She peers into Rip's face.
It is Rip Van Winkle. Welcome home, neighbor. Why did you run off, you old scoundrel?
I didn't. Listen.
It does not take Rip long to tell his story. For him, 20 years has been like one night.
The people stare hard at Rip. Was he speaking the truth, or had he gone crazy?
They look to old Peter Vanderdonk. He is the oldest man in the village and knows more than anyone.
I believe him. The Catskill Mountains have always been haunted by strange beings.
What do you mean?
Legend says that Captain Hendrik Hudson, who discovered this region long ago, visits every 20 years with his crew.
Rubbish.
My father once saw them in their old Dutch clothes, bowling in the hollow of the mountain. He said that the sound of their balls was like distant peals of thunder.
Yes.
So it's true? You are my father?
Indeed I am.
Then you shall live with us. We will have Old Rip, Rip Jr., and Baby Rip.
It takes time for Rip to fully grasp all that happened while he slept.
We fought a revolution.
We're free of King George.
And now we are free citizens of the United States of America.
Rip tells his story to anyone who will listen. Some think he is out of his head.
But others believe him.
And whenever we hear a thunderstorm, we say that the Dutch must be at their game of 9-pin again.